Hello everybody, this is Nick VMX. You're on my channel and you're listening to POTATOCAST, and I haven't done one of these in a little while, and there's reasons for that. Basically, I've just been really busy, the holidays, the end of the year, and I've been trying to catch up on Twitch uploads. I got a bunch of those coming in today, and I've been streaming more. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but sometimes I do these little impromptu streams, so thanks for the people that come by on those. I streamed last night, and I got about a dozen people coming by. That was a lot of fun. Anyway, there's a lot to talk about, but unfortunately I'm not going to get to talk about. I mean, there's a lot of shit going on. There's the Video Game Awards happened, and that was slightly controversial because of what's going on with Hideo Kojima, and there was the Mortal Kombat trailer, which showed off the 4 new characters. There was the Superman-Batman trailer, and there was the Civil War. But I got to talk about something else, and for the first time ever, and probably for the only time, because I do like to keep this very personal and about me, although that sounds terrible when I say it out loud. I have a guest with me. I have Tanya with me. So, hi, Tanya.
Hi, everybody.
So, yeah, POTATOCAST isn't really a show that I aim to bring guests on. It is like the only podcast-type show that I do alone, and there's a reason for that. But there's a reason I have Tanya with me today. A couple of months back, actually it's a little more than a couple of months back now that I think of it, I asked you guys to help and donate some of your money, or at least share the link for my friend Hitomi, who's living in Japan and was facing the possibility of homelessness and possibly worse because of the situation she was in. And I brought it up several times on the show with links to her GoFundMe campaign. And that was, I gotta say, mostly thanks to you guys, the POTATOCAST listeners, has been a success, I have to say. She's moved. She's not completely out of the woods, but she's moved. She's out of a bad situation. From what I understand, she has a much more sympathetic landlord now. The fucking heater finally just turned off, so you can hear me better. And, it was all very successful. And then Tanya dropped this bombshell on me that right now she's facing some hardships and she needs financial help. And unlike with Hitomi, I'm unable currently to donate money. She set up a GoFundMe. There is a link in the description, and we're going to talk about it at depth. She's going to tell her whole story, and we're going to go through that. But I'm unable to donate right now. I gave quite a lot to Hitomi over the course of time, just $50 here and there. And, when I look at it, it does add up. And it's actually kind of depressing because I look at that and I'm like, wow, I could have bought like a PlayStation 4 or something, but she's a friend and she needed my help. But Tanya, I can't help right now because of the holidays coming up. I have to prioritize family. I have to buy gifts for my nephews mostly. But I said I got to help her because she's got this GoFundMe up. And this is not going to be an ongoing thing. This is a single goal of $1,500, and Tanya's going to explain it. She's going to tell the whole story in just a little bit, but I wanted to say this is once she reaches that, that's it. And she only has $80. She put it up on Facebook. A couple of people shared it. There was, a handful of donations here and there, and we don't ask for a lot, but if everybody that listens was to donate a little bit of money, she would reach that goal very quickly. So Tanya, why don't you give us a little backstory of some of the drama you've been facing with your housing situation, because this has actually been going on for a while.
Yeah, it has. See, what happened was our land, we had moved just recently, as a matter of fact. We moved from the 3rd floor down to the 1st floor apartment.
Well, yeah, you moved in the same building.
We moved in the same building.
But your drama kind of started before that, didn't it?
It did start before that. We had several issues with now past neighbors.
Yeah.
Basically, stealing our stuff.
That's still going on.
It's still going on.
Yeah. Actually, even just the moving was a whole thing. 'Cause if I remember correctly, you wanted to move into the downstairs apartment for quite some time because your wife, Carissa, is physically disabled and shouldn't be really climbing all those stairs all the time. And it was just, you were ignored. And
pretty much. We've been here 3 years. We've been ignored.
There was this open apartment, and you guys wanted to move into it, and the rent was the same and everything, and you guys have been really good tenants, and he just doesn't care. And then there was the whole drama about he wanted to sell the building.
Well, actually, he's actually still got the building up for sale, but he's asking an exorbitant price for it.
So that's probably not going to happen. But there were issues with the building. Why don't you tell us some of the issues that prevented him from being able to sell it at the time?
Well, for one thing, I mean, this place is a wreck. For one thing, I don't know if you guys can see this in your head, but on every porch there's where these windows are supposed to be, and there aren't any there. So all the air is coming in over, on the porches, and there's supposed to be like bay windows there, but they're all gone.
So wait, it's just open to the air?
It's just open to the air on the porch, in the porch area, and that's supposed to be.
Okay, and so obviously you can't use those in the winter.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're all huddled inside our houses pretty much.
And that probably leads to some insulation issues too.
Well, actually, that's what I want to get into. Is,
and you had health code violations up the yin-yang.
There's plenty of health code violations over here because not just that, but I mean, like to give you guys an example. In our last apartment we were in, because of where they put there was an outlet literally right next to the shower. I'm not even kidding.
That's a safety issue, obviously.
Yeah, that's just to give you just one minor example.
And that's crazy design right there.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I mean, I don't know, like, what electrician would put an outlet next to a shower, or what plumber would put a shower next to an outlet.
Well,
it's kind of crazy.
I think because this building is like this building used to be I think some sort of a mill or something, you know.
Okay.
And it's been reconverted, obviously, and this is like 100 years ago or something. Yeah. So
reconverted poorly. Okay. And it's also you've mentioned a few times not exactly in the greatest neighborhood.
No, there's a lot of drugs around here.
Yeah. You've had police outside. Weren't they raiding? Didn't you have to evacuate because they were raiding the building?
3 times since we've been here, we've had to evacuate the building because of possible gunshots and shit.
Yeah, and I know you're not the biggest police fan, so that's just a hassle to have them around too.
Yeah, I'm not a huge po-po fan. You know,
who is these days? But. Okay, so you got all these violations. The landlord keeps the place in a state of disrepair, and you guys are just dutifully paying your rent, and finally...
every month, on time.
And he didn't let you move downstairs until you called the health inspector.
Yeah, and actually, the health inspector, when the health inspector came in, she noted, like, the holes in the walls, and she noted the outlet, and she noted those things. But she also noted
that's not even health inspector. That's like safety inspector.
That's
stuff,
safety. Yeah. But she also noted that apparently we also had we also had a mushroom growing in our bathroom.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
And that comes from like there must be some sort of leak or something that's causing moisture to leak out that you would get fungus growing like that.
I couldn't believe it. So
okay, so recently your lawyer, listen to me, your landlord dropped the bomb on you that he was raising the rent significantly.
Yeah, what happened was that we finally got the place downstairs, and we get the place, and it was only for $25 extra a month. So it's like, okay, that's
okay,
you know. And so we're still doing the act of unpacking because it's just taking a while.
Yeah.
But we've only been here, I think, a month and a half, maybe 2 months.
Well, I mean, you're employed.
Yeah.
Carissa's disabled. How much time do you really have for packing and stuff?
Right. You know.
Yeah.
So we're on. So a few days ago, I'm on the computer. I'm working, on the next project, and all of a sudden we get a knock at the door, and it's the landlord with papers, and he goes, "I'm raising the rent," and.
And why don't you tell, for posterity's sake, what it was before?
Well, right now it's $600.
$600.
But it's being raised to $725.
Okay.
And that's beyond our budget.
Yeah.
So, because I mean, okay, we make a little bit of money from the games and whatnot, but I mean,
and you do some computer repair on the side, and people understand. Like, if anybody's wondering out there, and they're saying, "Well, Tanya is a CEO. How come she can't afford this place and whatnot?" But we're a small company. We're an independent company. We have like about 25 people working for us, and we don't make a whole lot of money just yet. And some of us have other jobs, more conventional jobs. Tanya just has computer repair that she does on the side.
Although actually, starting this month, once or twice a month, I'll be teaching.
Yeah, you're going to be at the university.
I'll be teaching a little bit. So
yeah. So that'll bring in a little extra. But right now, you're looking at moving out of there. Now you're moving to a much smaller place, which is going to be a hassle.
Yeah,
you're looking at a one-bedroom for $550 a month. Now, I mean, are you going to be okay with all the animals and everything?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the place we're looking at, it's right here in Gardner, so so that's a good thing. But the place we're looking at.
Actually, I got to bring up something else about where you live. That's a problem that's been ongoing. Is that there's almost constant construction on that road.
Well, yeah.
And that every time, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but every time they're working on anything, your whole internet cuts out, which is ridiculous.
Well,
and also, not only is it ridiculous that just a little construction would always knock out your internet, but you rely on that to work.
Yes, it is my livelihood.
So that's an issue.
So and like I said, we're off of Main Street, so it's whenever there's.
I mean, I'm gonna be manipulative here, and I'm gonna tug at everybody's heartstrings. Why don't you tell us about some of the personal tragedies you've gone through recently? I know you don't really want to talk about it, but it's going to help. People need to know what you're in. Like, we've talked about, I've talked about on POTATOCAST multiple times how the year 2015 has just been a piece of shit to everybody that I know, including myself.
Yeah,
you're a person that I know, and you've gone through some shit, but just recently, you've had some bad shit go down. Why don't you tell a little bit about that?
Well, I cry.
It's all right. I don't want you to cry, but I want people to understand. You know what I mean? I'm not doing this for more views. I'm doing this for donations. I want people to understand what you're going through.
Well, my grandma, she just passed about a week and a half ago.
And that was something that wasn't foreseen, right?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, she might see basically for what she was to me is she was the first one in my family, over my mom, over my dad, over everybody, to accept me as her granddaughter.
For who you are.
For who I am. And she was the first one to do. She was the first. Mind you, my grandma, she was pretty prejudiced, against everybody else, but her transgender
sometimes
granddaughter,
when it's family.
Yeah,
that puts it in perspective,
So so that meant a lot to me over the years, and we've only grown closer. There we go. And, she passed away, and she meant a lot to me. And my mom, she got a hold of me, and she was a wreck.
And you and your mother haven't had the best relationship in the past.
No, well, we have.
I know that it's been somewhat repaired recently, but
yeah, somewhat. But even though we only speak like once every 6 months or something.
It's better than not at all, right?
Yeah, sometimes just not at all. And but I mean, ever since my grandma died and her mom, obviously, then she's been reaching out more to me, which is nice. But
that's the good side effect of something like that happening.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work, but sometimes it can bring people closer together.
Absolutely. And, I mean, we were dealing with that. I was trying to help my mom heal through it, and the same thing with her with me, actually. It's just, like I said, I especially toward the later years, I think I was closer to my grandma than my mom was to her mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
So,
and then after that, you had another family member.
And then literally
suddenly passed.
Oh God, here we go.
You'll be all right. It's okay.
And then literally like 2 days later.
It was the same week, wasn't it?
It was. It literally was within days of each other. And
like when you told me that, I just kind of like was like, what's next?
My Auntie Ann passes all of a sudden.
And
my
Auntie
Ann is my mom's age.
Yeah.
So she was relatively, she was in her 50s, but 50s. Come on.
Yeah, and then just suddenly to go like that.
And Auntie Ann, again, I was very close to her when I was a kid, and I still stayed in contact with her, and we still had a good relationship. And my cousins and my family are just reeling right now. I'm reeling. I've been reeling.
I mean, I was reeling just from hearing this and just like imagining what you're going through.
And
when you told me your grandmother passed, I was like, my reaction was kind of like, well, that's really sad, but it's sort of a part of growing older is that we lose people,
Of course.
But then, you said your aunt, and obviously that's not, that's a generation younger there,
Yeah.
And that's in the same week. It's a lot to bear all at once.
And then we get hit with this thing from the landlord about.
And then there was something else that happened. Was this stalker bullshit that you're going through?
Oh God, yeah, that.
And I'll tell a little bit about that because I don't want you to get all aggravated. But
yeah,
essentially, Tanya suddenly started getting these crazy threats, and I think it was over Facebook, right?
It was on Facebook. Yeah.
Somebody made a fake Facebook account and not only sent this to Tanya, but also to Carissa and a few other people. And I didn't get to see this message, but it was just this long, rambling, nonsensical, kind of vaguely threatening, diatribe, and it was, Silas agrees, that it was bullshit, and, whoa, okay, don't throw the mic down the stairs. Tanya? I think she walked away. Tanya, are you there?
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
I didn't know you went anywhere.
No, I'm back.
Okay. So anyway, you pretty much know who this is.
Yeah. Well, I actually,
You're very low. I can barely hear you all of a sudden. Tanya? All right, now I can't hear you at all. What's going on here? Tanya, can you hear me? You need to type to me or something because all of a sudden our communication is broken down here. Mike just went out. Okay. All right. Well, Tanya, hopefully maybe you can work on fixing that. I'm going to tell the rest of it. Her microphone's this is another thing, and she can't just go out and buy a new microphone. It's just kind of ridiculous, all the bullshit that she's been through. But basically, she knows who did this, and because it had to be somebody that they know, because the things that were said were of a personal nature and a private nature, and also there were some lies involved, and she kind of knew that this is actually Carissa's brother who is doing this. So now you have, the family's a wreck. You're dealing with this rent situation, you're dealing with all these problems with the apartment, and then all of a sudden it's, on top of all this nonsense, you're getting, I heard something. Okay, I heard something. It sounded like a pop, but I think she's working on getting the microphone working. But anyway, and then for your, basically in-law there, brother-in-law to pull a stunt like that. I'm hearing these pops, which makes me think that Tanya's working on possibly getting the microphone working again. But basically what it comes down to is the links in the description, and anything that you can contribute would be greatly appreciated. What the hell was that? Jesus Christ, Andrew. Andrew wants to play Words with Friends. I thought he went to bed. Anyway, the link will be in the description, and this is going to be, it's basically just once she reaches $1,500, and this is to cover moving expenses because Tanya and Carissa don't have a car. They're going to need to rent something or, hire a moving truck or something to move everything, and it's to help cover first and last month rent for the new place, and she's going to handle the security deposit. So the goal right now is, Tanya just texted me, I think my mic just died, add that to my fucking 2015. Well, have you tried unplugging it and plugging it back in? Sometimes several times. That must have been those pops I heard. Maybe you can, you might be able to find them. Do you have a backup, like some kind of crappy USB mic from like fucking Guitar Hero or something? But anyway, oh, she's looking. Okay. The link's in the description, and the goal is $1,500. She's currently sitting at $80 as of right now, and I would normally throw her money here and there to help, but like I said, I got Christmas presents to buy, and this is just killing me because I was able to help Hitomi all these months, and this is much more time sensitive. This is not an ongoing thing. This has to happen now. So if you can donate anything, if you can donate $1, $5, whatever amount you can think of, or if you can't, I would ask at the very least that you would share the link. Take the link, post it on your social media, Facebook, Twitter, whatever the hell you got. You know, I don't care if you go into your fucking, your fucking Neopets account and spam it there. Just try and get it out there, because right now they're trying to prevent homelessness. And Tanya and Carissa, I wanted to talk about this a little bit. The microphone issue is preventing us from doing this, but they've been homeless in the past, and they've dealt with that. The problem is, if Tanya was to do that, I mean, she would survive, her wife would survive. The only problem is it's going to hurt the company. It's going to hurt Kazura Studios, because it's going to take Tanya out of commission, and she's not going to be able to work on things. She's not going to be able to work on upcoming projects, games that we're working on. We're working on a mobile port of Episode 1. We're working on a prequel game. We're working on an expansion to Episode 2. And all that can only happen if Tanya has a roof over her head and an internet connection, you know. So that's basically what I wanted to talk about with that. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause the recording here, and I'm going to stop, and we're going to try and get this microphone situation sorted out so that Tanya can rejoin us. So I don't normally do this during POTATOCAST, but I'm going to stop here and come back. For you guys, it's going to be just a moment, but we're going to try and get... And we're back. If the quality of the recording, if it sounds a little different, it's because we're not on Skype anymore. Skype was not working out because Tanya's microphone seems to be dead. It doesn't seem to be working at all. Tried a few different things. It's just not going. You don't have a backup, huh?
No backup.
Yeah. Well, we're on the phone now, which is why Tanya sounds like that. I have her on my phone, on speaker. We're going really kind of low-tech on this motherfucker. But... you know, is there anything you want to add to everything that we said, Tanya?
Honestly, like, the only thing I really have to add is just, I appreciate any donation you guys can give, no matter what, you know, no matter the amount. I mean, just things that right now are really, really, really tough. We're trying to get out to that new place.
Yeah.
And I listed how the money is going to be spent exactly, you know, and that's really about it. I mean, it's just, you know, we're going through a rough patch right now, and I do want to add to that. I will be sending Steam keys for all of our games on Steam to those people.
Yeah. So anybody who donates, you'll get Steam keys for Chronicles of a Dark Lord, Episode 1, Episode 2, and Rhapsody Clash. And if you have the games already, you can give the keys to somebody else. You can give them away. It's fine, you know.
And like John said, this is only a one-time thing.
Yeah, it's not going to be an ongoing month-to-month thing. And just to stress, it's hard for Tanya to ask people for help. She's not.
I don't ask people for help.
She's not down with that. She's worse than I am about that. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm worse than you are. I've been through this kind of shit and never put up a GoFundMe, but you know, there you have it.
When I went through, when me and Chris were homeless once upon a time, there was no such thing as GoFundMe. So it's like,
yeah.
You know, we had to pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps, and that's how we are. It's who we are.
But we want to prevent you from being put into that position to begin with here.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
we can't deal with that anymore. I mean, I'm 34, Chris is, 29.
Yeah. Speaking of ages.
Too old for that.
Speaking of ages, I just wanted to throw this out there since we're pretty much done talking about the GoFundMe. If you want to say, I figure you might want to say happy birthday, Tanya, to Payton. It is his birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Payton.
So if he's listening, there you go. And my birthday's in 2 days, so I just want to throw that out there.
Happy birthday, John.
Not that I expect you to get me anything with your financial situation being what it is, but on Monday the 7th I will be turning 35, so. There you go.
Actually, John, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to find another, like, under $1 game.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
To talk to you for a gift.
Well, look, I mean, you hit the lottery there with that shower with your dad simulator that actually turned out to be good. But I don't need like a bad rats cluttering up my Steam inventory. You save your money for, the necessities right now.
I'll see if I can find another gem,
If you insist, I think you should save your money for what you got going on.
I will be. As a matter of fact, actually, we're saving up like literally every step he's got.
Let's talk about Hideo Kojima.
You mean fuck Konami?
Hashtag fuck Konami, yes. I don't know. I mentioned it before. You didn't really get to react to it, but I did live stream last night. Really, just a couple of hours ago. I went from about 3 a.m. to about 6 a.m. and just playing The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. And I didn't plan it. It was an impromptu stream, but I got to say, I just threw it out on Twitter, like, hey, I'm going to stream, and I got about a dozen people coming by. It was a lot of fun, and we talked about a bunch of things, and part of it was the horror that is going on over at Konami, and I've touched on it in POTATOCasts of the past. But if you guys are unaware, Metal Gear Solid 5 won several awards at the Game Awards. I think Best Action Adventure Game was the big one. It was also runner-up for Game of the Year, which I'm trying to remember what actually won Game of the Year. I can't even think of it. Was it The Witcher 3? The Witcher 3, okay. I thought it might have been that. The Witcher 3 won, but Metal Gear Solid 5 was runner-up. There were a few other awards that Metal Gear Solid 5 won. You know that I'm not really a fan of this series. I know you're not really a fan of this series because we're not really into that style of gameplay, but you cannot deny that this man is incredibly talented and he has told some interesting stories and gained legions of fans who are not there for Konami. They're there for him. And not only was he not there, but apparently legal representatives from Konami informed him that he was not allowed to be there.
That is fuck-hearted.
And not only, this didn't come out in some news story afterwards, like some person broke the news after. This happened during the Game Awards. One of the presenters took to the mic, and he was standing amongst the crowd, and he said that Mr. Kojima's not here, and he said why, and he called out Konami and said that their lawyers contacted Mr. Kojima and said he could not attend the Game Awards, he was not allowed to, and that he wanted to be there to accept the awards, which were rightfully his, but he was just not allowed to, and the crowd reaction was booing. They booed Konami.
Yeah, I can't believe they're that butthurt over Kojima that they would do that.
They're amazing. I don't understand what's going on with their brains. And then after this, because the crowd was booing, they were upset, and then they said, well, but Mr. Kojima is in Tokyo watching the Game Awards, and why don't you guys let him know that, he's in your hearts, and everybody was, like, applauding and cheering and everything. So that must have made him feel a little better. But I gotta say, not as good as being able to go to the show and accept the award for the game that you made.
Yeah, to me, especially as a game dev, and I'm sure to you as well, because you're a game dev, John.
Yeah.
That hits home.
And I just want to point it out that Konami had nothing to do with this game.
No, that was all Kojima.
They did not develop it. It was developed by Kojima's own studio, which is essentially a fourth-party developer that they develop for Konami, and who is a third-party developer. And there goes the heater. And they're basically, they took his name off the cover. They're trying to pretend like they made Metal Gear Solid 5 and that he had nothing to do with it. It's just crazy. And now they're going to take the award and they're probably going to display it in their offices. And he gets nothing. So my understanding, and not all the details are there, but my understanding is that Konami is under the impression that he still works for them.
Yeah, he's not working for them. He's just waiting his contract out so
Yeah.
he gets the hell out of there.
Yeah, but because he's still under contract, they've basically there's this thing that goes on in Japanese cultures where they want somebody to quit, or somebody has quit but they're still under contract, where they banish them essentially. They put them in banishment rooms where they just do busy work, like here, sit in this chair and make copies for 8 hours, that kind of thing. And usually it's something that, because it's very hard to get fired in Japan. They'd rather you quit. And that's what they're a version of what they're doing to him, is they're just trying to make him as miserable as possible. There's no legal reason for this. And really, it's only hurting Konami because they're the scum of the universe in the gaming world right now.
Yeah, their PR has gone out the window at this point.
Well, I gotta tell you, their stock dropped significantly yesterday.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, well, I heard about it from Andrew. He came at me with Konami stock took a nosedive, and I said, well, it probably has something to do with, the controversy with Hideo Kojima and the Game Awards. So, that's pretty crazy.
Well, the best way to tell them that they suck is by sucking away the money that fuels them.
The unfortunate thing is that that's not going to work. And that all this is going to do is it's going to push them further and further away from making AAA games and making console games and PC games, and it's just going to push them further into being another company like King or like Electronic Arts or like PopCap, which is part of Electronic Arts that just caters to the casual market. It's they're gonna go down like SNK now.
Well, I mean, they kind of were already.
Yeah, but this is just going to cement it further because they're not going to have the money. They're not going to have money to make big budget games like Metal Gear Solid 5. You're never going to get another big Metal Gear game. You're never going to get another big Castlevania. You're never going to see franchises return like Bomberman or like any of the Hudson Soft franchises that they own. It's all going to be pachinko and mobile apps and shit like that, and that's going to hurt them even. I mean, they'll make money off of it, but when their stock goes down because of bonehead moves like this bullshit with Kojima, it's a self-perpetuating thing. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Well, a lot of people, and I've been reading a lot of comments about this, a lot of people agree with you, John, and I agree with you too. It really is, because a lot of people are saying, I can't wait until Konami goes bankrupt. I can't, but of course, it's not going to happen because they have enough money they're making off of their casino machines and their casino games and all kind of crap that they're fine. And that's what's so galling, is that they don't have to make a video game ever again in the whole time. And
well, not with their stock dipping like this. I mean, and really, I mean, it hurts on a level of these are the companies we grew up with. Konami is just one. We have Capcom as well, and some of these companies that have already disappeared. They're gone, and some of them are still around, but in name only. I mean, look at Sega.
Sega is a shadow with itself. But I mean, like, even Capcom, I will say, lately, they're trying to redeem themselves.
What have they? Whoa! Hold on. What have they done to redeem themselves?
You didn't know how they're doing a remake of Resident Evil.
You cut out there. What did you say?
Of the original Resident Evil. They are officially announcing a remake of Resident Evil 2.
So another remake.
Well, I mean, that's what fans want, so...
No, I don't want to play Resident Evil 2 again.
Well, it's going to have all new visuals, gameplay type things, whatever. But
yeah, but this is...
It's going to be Resident Evil 2 remake. They already announced that.
What happened?
I believe Capcom came out with a couple of other titles that are more geared towards what fans want lately, rather than just saying fuck you like they have been.
Well, yeah, I know about... Look, I know about Street Fighter V, and I don't care,
Yeah, I don't care either.
And I've seen plenty of footage of it, and I kind of get that. I think it's more fun to watch someone play than actually play, which is kind of sad. It's not like Mortal Kombat where seeing the footage makes you want to play it. It's crazy. I mean, I'm butthurt about Mega Man still.
Well, I'm still butthurt about Mega Man.
And then and Breath of Fire and Darkstalkers and I mean, but this is it. It's Street Fighter and Resident Evil. Street Fighter and Resident Evil. Like that's all they've been doing.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for them.
And that Mega Man Legacy collection, that's a fucking joke.
Yeah, that was kind of weird actually for me.
Like, first off, they suspiciously put it right on the release date of Mighty Number 9. Which, well, Mighty Number 9 is coming out in February now. It was going to come out in September. And I know that, Concept said, oh, well, the publisher wants to delay it because of online co-op issues and this and that. But we know the real reason is because Capcom dumped the Mega Man collection onto Steam and 3DS and all this other crap right on the same fucking date that they were going to release Mighty Number 9. And then it's 6 games. We had a collection on the GameCube that was 10 games.
Well, I mean, they do say in the developer interviews that they didn't remake those games for PC. They didn't emulate them. They are remade.
Well, I want to point something out about that actually. Mega Man Legacy Collection is on 3DS, correct? It is. Yeah, it's on the 3DS. You know what else is on the 3DS?
What?
Mega Man 1 through 6 on the Virtual Console.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So, and I think it's cheaper to buy them like that. I have them all on my 3DS.
Yeah, I guess it just depends upon whether people want to play it. Really, there's not much difference between the emulated version.
No, there's just this leaderboard shit. Let me tell you something. People who play Mega Man don't give a shit about leaderboards.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's like if Binding of Isaac had points. You know what I mean?
Why would you care at that point?
Yeah, exactly. It's like that's not the that's not the aesthetic. So Hideo Kojima, what a bunch of bullshit. Capcom, I don't see them redeeming themselves. I see the same shit. Resident Evil and Street Fighter.
And as for Konami, it's like you said, John. It's very sad for you, especially even fans of Konami for how long?
Let me ask you a question. Let's have a little nostalgia moment here, Tanya. What was the first Konami game you ever played?
This is interesting. My first Konami game I ever played wasn't Castlevania the original for NES. It was actually Metal Gear for the NES. Was my first one.
Oh wow, that's not the greatest thing to start with.
No.
Because even if you like Metal Gear, that was the bullshit port.
Yeah, but then I found Castlevania for NES, and I went, oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Now, I'll tell you, and I want you to guess because you're never going to get it. What do you think the first Konami game I ever played was?
Oh God.
You'll never get it.
No, not Contra.
No, not Contra. No. I'll give you a hint, okay? It was an arcade game. I mean, it was on. It was no. We're talking a little earlier than that, Tanya. It was on NES, but I originally played it in the arcade.
Oh, God.
I was very young. I'll just tell you. Russian Attack, actually. Russian Attack was the first Konami game I ever played, and then after that it was actually probably Simon's Quest after that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now, what was the first Capcom game you ever played?
Oh, wow.
Now, you know...
I think it was the original Mega Man.
Mega Man? Okay, can you guess what mine was?
I'm going to say Mega Man.
No. It's another unusual one. Okay, it was on the PC, first off. It wasn't a console game. It was on NES and like every other system, but I had it on the computer. It was Commando.
Oh, wow, Commando. I forgot they even did that one.
And how cool was Commando? And, you know, that's another series. We got 3 of those, and that's it.
I only ever played the first one on NES, and I enjoyed it. It was really cool.
I have a feeling you played the second one. It wasn't called Commando 2 or anything. It was actually called Mercs. It was on the Sega Genesis.
Oh, I did play that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the third one was Xbox Live Arcade. So.
Yeah, I don't think I ever played the Xbox.
But Capcom especially. Konami was a big thing because my favorite series is Castlevania, and I have a lot of fond memories of some, Contra and some other games that they made. But for me, Capcom was the shit because we had. Yeah, it was Resident Evil and Street Fighter, but we also had Breath of Fire and Mega Man, and of course Mega Man is its own, like, platform almost, because there's so many spin-off series. Because you're not just getting jump-and-shoot games, you're getting strategy games, you're getting arcade-style games, you're getting RPGs. There's so many different... There's a racing game that's actually pretty decent. And then there was this sort of renaissance during, like the PS2 GameCube era where they had all these original ideas that weren't sequels to anything, and they were releasing these games like Piano 3 and Beautiful Joe and all this, and Onimusha, that were like new ideas, and what happened to all that?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really like one of those things that it's just sad, you know what I mean? But don't be loyal to companies.
Apparently, from what I understand, there is a new Onimusha game.
I heard about that, but I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop that it's going to be like a pachinko game.
Well, right? When I saw
because that's what Castlevania is. Yeah. Not only is Castlevania a pachinko game now, but it's an erotic pachinko game.
Because everybody wants one of those, right, John?
Erotic pachinko Castlevania. Do 2 of those words even go together? Much less 3? Not really, right? Don't be loyal, and I'm talking to everybody out there, don't be loyal to companies, be loyal to creators, because the creators that you knew are not making games at these companies. The people who worked at Capcom back in the day are not, The people who worked at Konami have left. Rare is a perfect example. Everybody said, well, why didn't Rare not develop Killer Instinct? Why are they only making Connectimals and shit like that? Because all the people that worked at Rare back in the glory days of the Nintendo 64 are gone. They don't work there anymore.
No, they worked on Yooka-Laylee now.
Yeah, go support Yooka-Laylee or Bloodstained or Mighty Number 9, because these are the continuations you'll see. I'm hoping we see some sort of Bomberman-esque thing, but...
That'd be cool. I could see that.
Because Konami ain't doing shit with Bomberman.
No, and they won't either.
Well, let's put him in Smash Brothers.
You know?
Let's put him in Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
That'd be cool.
How cool was it to not only see Mega Man in Smash Brothers, but to see him looking like he's supposed to.
When I saw the
You're breaking up a little. Yeah.
I really was. I became a kid again. I was very
Well,
happy.
yeah, it was like, that's what, when we were kids, that's what we thought Mega Man would look like in these future games. It, the same design, just better graphics. But I mean, the thing is, like, everybody wanted Mega Man to be in a fighting game, and then they gave us Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Did you see what Mega Man looked like in Street Fighter Cross Tekken?
No, I haven't seen that.
Well, first of all, they didn't base it on what he looks like in the games. They based it on what he looked like in the box of the original Mega Man.
Oh, got it.
And secondly, they made him really, really fat.
That's not Mega Man.
He looks like Jack Black swallowed another Jack Black.
Oh, got it.
That's what he looks like. And he doesn't. But it's just like the box art. Like, he's got the yellow and blue, and instead of firing, he doesn't have an arm cannon. He's like got a little gun, like a little laser pistol. It's so pathetic, and that's what they put in Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
That's horrible.
And
I'm so glad we got that version we got
in Super Smash Brothers. Well,
yeah.
because who's in charge of that is Sakurai, and Sakurai said that he's open to, other companies' characters appearing in it, but they have to be somewhat historically significant or somewhat important, and he thinks it's very important for them to look like they're supposed to. That's why he worked very closely, with everybody to make sure that Mega Man looked like he was supposed to, that Sonic looks like he's supposed to, Pac-Man looks like he's supposed to. Because they could have easily... They could have taken Pac-Man's design from the cartoon, which would have been fine because it's not all that crazy, but we don't want that version of Pac-Man. We want the classic Namco Pac-Man,
The iconic Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what we got. And now Cloud Strife is in it, or going to be in it. Ryu from Street Fighter. I mean, these characters look great in Super Smash Brothers, and yes, we're all hoping for Shovel Knight. Yes. But, we're all hoping for Shovel Knight. But, I've always said, like, ever since they announced Mega Man, I was like, I want to see Bomberman. I want to see Bomberman in Smash Brothers. I think that, because the problem with Bomberman is the last game they did was that game on Xbox that tried to make him look like, like a reject Iron Man, like one of the suits that Tony made that never made it the light of day.
God, yeah.
Like, what had you done to our cute little robot guy, that looks like Lode Runner for some reason? I mean...
I don't know. It was so fucked up.
But what's funny is, like, wasn't Bomberman, wasn't he really Lode Runner anyway?
Yeah, he was.
If you ever beat the NES game, the original game, they said that he became the Lode Runner after that. But then they made Bomberman 2, and that all went out the window. But it's just crazy. Like yes, bring back the cutesy Bomberman, but he's perfect for Smash Brothers. That kind of character would do really well.
I can even envision this Final Smash already.
Oh yeah, it would just be like one big bomb,
Yeah.
But
bomb. Hell, if you really want to be cute about it, make it a bomb off.
Yeah, there you go. But there's so many. Okay, like other than like Bomberman, which we mentioned, and Shovel Knight, which we mentioned. Let's talk about Smash Brothers very briefly, because what we're looking at now is we're looking at fighting games of this generation are becoming platforms, and we've seen it with Mortal Kombat X. Mortal Kombat X, they had their combat pack, and we had Goro as Day One DLC. Then we had Tanya, Jason Voorhees, the Predator, and Tremor, and now we're getting 4 more characters. We're getting Leatherface, we're getting an alien xenomorph, which is a Tarkatan xenomorph, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And then also a character which everybody's calling Triborg, which essentially the 3 variations are going to be Sector, Cyrax, and Smoke, which is just 3 characters in one. That's awesome. And then Baraicho, I don't think anybody was asking for him, but that's pretty cool. I know there's a lot of people butthurt that it wasn't Sindel and Rain and some of these characters that appear in the storyline that you actually fought, but who says there won't be a third combat pack, you know? And
like you said, with the way that the MKX is running,
yeah,
it's becoming a platform more than
and that's what we're saying. And they're saying they're going to do it with somebody on my Steam list just popped up as playing Rhapsody Clash. That's pretty interesting. Anyway, fucking, Street Fighter V is supposedly going to be doing this, and Smash Brothers. When Smash Brothers 4 came out, for Wii U, for 3DS, it already had way more characters than any other Smash Brothers game. And then they were like, well, here's Lucas, here's Mewtwo, and then all of a sudden, it became like, instead of just a little drib and drab at DLC, now Ryu, now Cloud, and then what's next? What do you want to see other than Shovel Knight and Bomberman? What characters do you think you want to see?
Let's see, Mage's Dragon Lee.
Realistically,
honestly,
I'd rather have Magus in Mortal Kombat than in Smash Brothers. I just want to say that.
I was going to say, if I did have the choice, I'd actually put like Furia in Mortal Kombat and Magus, and those would be my two.
Oh, okay. So Magus for Smash, Ziria for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, pretty much. But as for who I'm looking for, besides like Shovel Knight and Bomberman, I'm actually looking at the main guy from Contra, actually.
Bill Riser.
I think he'd be really cool.
Bill Riser for Smash, but that's Konami again.
Yeah, but I mean, he is iconic.
I know, but it's not going to happen. You know that the only reason Snake was in the game was because Kojima went to them personally, and he actually asked to put Snake in Melee, and by the time that they, got through to Nintendo, the game was already done. And that's why they put him in Brawl, but Konami will never allow it. Now that Kojima is a huge Nintendo fan. He loves Smash Brothers, and that's why he wanted that to happen. Konami couldn't give less of a shit.
No, Konami can't give less, which is sad, but I mean, this is what I would love to see, but again, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, well, you're right, yeah.
I would love to see him. I would love to see, I would actually really love to see Katamari, actually. I think that'd be really cool.
That could be interesting. Although, I don't know, that's sort of like, I could see that working more on like a PlayStation All-Stars game, you know what I mean?
No, that's true, but then again, I mean...
But then, Cloud wasn't a Nintendo character, and you know what I mean? That's just crazy that they put him in it, Oh, by the way, Dissidia is coming out, that's the arcade version. And I'm not a big Dissidia fan. I don't like the gameplay, but have you seen who they're adding to it?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
It leaked out some screenshots that shows Ramza in Dissidia.
Oh, wow, really?
How cool is that, right?
That's really
He's only my favorite Final Fantasy character of all time, so,
Let me tell you, he's so underrated. Ramza is badass.
He's my favorite Final Fantasy character of all time. Okay, so you mentioned Bill Riser. You mentioned a few other. Okay, let me sort of like say that first off, I love the direction they're going with these really super iconic characters. And I know that some people are saying like there's a push for Miriam now from Bloodstained. That's really cool, but that game's not even out yet. So let's calm down on Miriam. You know what I mean? I would love a Castlevania. I would love it if it was Simon Belmont. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. You know what I mean? But
again, Konami.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. But looking elsewhere, first of all, looking straight to Nintendo, how about the female Link?
Oh, Linkle.
Yes, I hate that she's called Linkle. But
I hate that too, by the way.
I would rather if she was just called Link, because that's not a gender-specific name. But,
Link.
Yeah, but whatever. I want her in Smash Brothers. I think that would be really cool.
That would be cool.
And
agree. Yeah.
I gotta say,
Badass.
if they're gonna do... If Square Enix is gonna be involved in this, and they're gonna do Cloud, I want to see Lodo.
Oh, yeah.
the hero of Dragon Quest III. The most iconic Dragon Quest character of all time. I want to see that.
Yes. I wholeheartedly agree with that.
So
man,
yeah.
I would love to see Dragon Quest represented in Smash Brothers. That'd be amazing. Then I could do freaking Loto versus Cloud.
Yeah, you totally could. You totally could. Just like soon in Mortal Kombat X, you can do Xenomorph versus Predator.
Xenomorph Alien versus Predator.
Yeah.
I guess it's gonna happen.
Now, let me ask you, and we'll probably end it after this, but Mortal Kombat X, let's say there's a Combat Pack 3. Who's in it? Give me your 4 picks. Could be guest characters, could be MK characters. And you know what? The tradition seems to be 2 guests, 2 MK characters, so why not do that?
Alright, so I'm going to go with my 2 guest characters first.
Okay. Well, I know you're going to say Ziria.
Yeah, Ziria is my top one. Ziria is the guest, and my second guest would be... Oh, let's go with Kratos.
Well, Kratos will only appear on PlayStation, though. And he was in MK9, so... But only on PlayStation.
Well, I mean, we are seeing some multi-platform stuff going on lately with different publishers and developers.
Yeah,
so
but that character belongs to Sony.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
But again.
Okay, but that's your... Okay, and give me two MK characters.
And 2 MK characters. I want to see. I want to see. I want to see Baraka.
Baraka, okay. Because you fought him in the game, so that's a given. Yeah.
Yeah, you fought him. I want to see Baraka, and I want to see Rain.
Arguably, the Xenomorph is Baraka.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, because if you saw the trailer, you know that they showed that thing where you had Devora killing Baraka, which happened in the story mode, and then the chest burster comes out of him.
That was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. Okay, so for me, for Mortal Kombat, well, I'll give you the MK characters first. I want to see Frost, because she appeared in the story mode, but you didn't get to fight her or anything. And I want to see Serena, who also had a cameo in the story mode. And that says a lot, because I could have easily said Noob Saibot, because he's one of my favorites, but I want to see Serena. And for guest characters, I'm going to go a little crazy. How about... I'm going kind of with female characters, kind of interesting, but how about the bride from Kill Bill?
Fucking Beatrix Kiddo? Holy
Yes.
shit, that would be amazing.
Yes. That would absolutely be amazing. And for a second one...
Favorite characters of all time.
Yeah, well, me too. I fucking love that movie, so why not put her in it? And, and she could have a few different variations, like she could have the sword, or she could be doing kung fu, or you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's my one guest character. And then for the other, I don't want to say anything obvious. I don't want to say Michael Myers, or, like Freddy, who's already been in it. Although it'd be cool to have Freddy and Jason together, But, you know what's funny? I mean, I would have said Leatherface, and now that we're getting him, that's so cool, Because
It is pretty cool.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of my favorite movies of all time. But for the other guest character, I'm going to say... Okay, you know what? You picked a PlayStation character. I'm going to pick an Xbox character.
Okay.
Fulgore.
Oh, Fulgore. Okay.
He fits in with the Mortal Kombat. I mean, he's a robot, He looks like a Lin Kuei robot. He could pass.
He does, actually, yeah.
He could pass for like Smoke's dumb brother or something,
Fulgore.
Yeah, full gore.
I would love to see. I mean, it'd be awesome to see like, full gore
versus Triborg.
Cyborg.
Yeah. Why not? I mean, I don't give a shit about most of the Killer Instinct characters, but I always liked full gore, so why not, right?
And this is just as a lark, but because they are putting in horror movie type, icons in there. You know who I would love to see in MKX?
Let's hear it.
But it'll never happen. Is a gremlin.
What, from the movie Gremlins?
Yeah.
No, don't do that. They're little, though. It'd have to be like a big-ass gremlin.
Well, I mean, the thing about it, wouldn't that be fucking hilarious? I mean, it would be hilarious.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm all about that. I don't know about that one.
Well, I definitely would have put a gremlin in, like, Super Smash Bros. It wouldn't work right, but I mean...
How about we work on getting a Gremlins movie before we worry about that, right?
There is no Gremlins movie, isn't there?
I haven't heard nothing about this.
Oh, it was trending on Facebook the other day.
I was drunk the other day. Let me look it up. Gremlins. Alright, here's Wikipedia. There should be something. Alright, okay, that's the first movie. I'm looking for, like, if there's going to be a third one. Let's see. Well, there's no Wikipedia page for a third Gremlins or a remake or anything like that.
Hold on, I'll find it.
All right, well, I'm gonna say let's wrap this up here. You could show me that, but I'm gonna stop the recording. Hope you guys enjoyed POTATOCAST. A little bit different this week, but I had to have Tanya on to talk about this. Check out the link in the description for her GoFundMe. See you guys later.
Thank you.